folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little guy right here. Carcassonne Amazona is the next installment in the Around the World series from the Carcassonne line. And I think it's really great. It's a beautiful iteration of the game. I think the tiles are all very good. I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. You already know that I enjoy the Carcassonne line of series. Is my wife's favorite game, basically speaking. And so this was I knew I had to bring it back type of game from Essen. So let's get down to the table. I'll show you how it works. So this is the look of the tiles that come in Carcassonne Amazonas. It follows the basic general rules that Carcassonne has as far as placement of tiles and the rules that you have to follow as far as that's concerned, joining in different cities and that kind of thing. All of those are the same. There are just a few differences that come in with the different new icons that are on each of the tiles that I'll focus on to give you a better understanding of how Carcassonne Amazonas plays. Now, your meeples can be placed in villages or on tributaries. Then you also have a piece that is called a camp, which basically just looks like a little hut. And those are things that can be put in jungles. If you have played Carcassonne before, kind of think of those as your shepherds or your farmers or what have you. And at the end of the game, that's going to give you points for all of the different wild animals that are connected to that guy. So on your turn, you basically just play a tile, draw and play a tile. But there are certain things that could happen. For example, if you draw a tile that looks like this, that has that little boat icon on it, if you add it to one of the tributaries that you already own, for example, red player could play it right here, that gives you the ability to move your boat one forward down the river. Now, that introduces a little bit of a race mechanic, because when the Amazon River is added to, there's going to be a miniature scoring round that happens. I'll go over that in just a few moments, but just wanted to point out those little icons there. Then, whenever you do draw an Amazon tile, you'll notice that it is the river part of it is wider than the tributary sections, like over here. And you add it to the end of the river down there. Now, it's important to note here that you can't add anything on this row until you get a Amazon tile placed right here. So when this tile is placed, it's going to trigger a scoring round. Now, what that means is that whoever is in first place here is going to get points equal to the number of crocodiles and piranhas that are in the rivers. I don't know if they're actual crocodiles. Maybe they're alligators, but it looks like one of those two. And so you get those added. So the person in first place here, red, would get 1, 2, 3 points, while everybody else that is in second, for example, if it's like this, green and blue would get 2 points just for the piranhas, and then the person in third place doesn't get any points, but they move up. So it's a little bit of a catch-up mechanic there for the people who are not in third, fourth, or fifth place. But it's pretty cool. It's not that bad at all. Now, there are some Amazon tiles that look like this. They have a little exclamation mark on them. Now, these are kind of sneaky, because to me, when I first turned these over, it just looked like a regular rock formation. I didn't see the exclamation mark, but that is exactly what it is, an exclamation mark. So if an exclamation mark is added to the river like so, then that's when one of the large Amazon tiles come out. There's only 4 of these, and there's only 3 of these tiles in the game, so only 3 of these will be used in each game. So there's a little bit of a random factor there. So whenever a Amazon tile is drawn like that, you randomly draw one of these and add it to the river like this. And another scoring round is triggered. Notice that there aren't any of those animals in the river on this one. That's because this one is the one that will actually score. So in this case, red would get... let's move these up a little bit, just like something like this. I don't know, like that. Let's say that's the case it was. Red would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Blue would get 1 point, and then yellow and green would both move up like this. All right, so that's how the river scoring would happen as far as this is concerned. So just to recap, your meeples can go in the villages, and when villages score, they score 2 points per tile, plus 1 for each of the fruit baskets that are there. Whenever tributaries score, it's 1 point per tile, plus fruit baskets. And whenever the camps at the end of the round and the camps at the end of the game score 1 point for each of the animals that are connected to your camp. So if I had a camp right here, then I would be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, because that jungle wraps all the way around like this. So that's something to keep in mind. That can get you a lot of points at the end of the game. But I think keeping your boat in front here in the race down the Amazon River, that's also key to getting yourself a lot of points, because you can get 5 points whenever one of these larger ones come up, and then there's a different number of points on these smaller Amazon tiles as well. So that can be a good source of points for you too. Of course, the game is played until all of the different Carcassonne tiles are gone. There's a good number of them as well, so you can count on probably about an hour at least for one of these games to take place. And then points are scored as normal for unfinished cities, getting 1 point per tile, unfinished tributaries getting 1 point per tile, and of course scoring your camps, getting 1 point per animal. But then at the end, this little guy is placed, denoted by the number of players that you're using. 4 or 5 players is this one, and then 2 to 3 players is this side. You simply just put it at the end of the river like so. And whoever is in first place gets 7 points. Whoever's in second place gets 4 points. Whoever's in third place gets 1. And if anybody's behind them, they don't get any points. So that would be a final scoring for the race, so to speak, at the end of the game. So pretty much just like Carcassonne, with a cool little racing mechanic added into it. A couple of curveballs, not really, for scoring as you go down the river, being able to move your boat down the river. Lots of cool stuff. I think this is a great addition to the Around the World series. So let's go back up top for my final thoughts. You know, one of the things that I like the most about the Around the World series of Carcassonne games is that it just takes the same mechanism, the same system that you're used to, that you are very comfortable with, and it just adds a little bit of flair to it here and there. I like how first of all, the artwork and the design of the tiles is out of this world great looking as far as Carcassonne Amazonas is concerned. I think, just off the top of my head, I think this is probably my favorite looking one so far. Now, I haven't gotten a real good look at the winter version of the basic set of Carcassonne, but I think this might be the most colorful. This one has a whole lot of colorful flair to it that reminds me of the South Seas installment in the Around the World Carcassonne line. But this one is really cool. It adds a new racing mechanic into it. You're trying to race down the river, and that brings me to another point that I really liked about it. One of the things that was kind of a why did they do that? Thing is that the starting tile was so hard to find, and that was the thing that I had to make sure that I did at the end of every Carcassonne game, was find the starting tile so I can separate it, and wouldn't have to search through all of those different tiles. This one has a large starting tile. You cannot forget it. You can't miss it. It's there in all of its large beauty. So that is really cool about this. I love the new starting tile of the river and how it's very simple, very easy. I know it's something small, but that's a big thing for me because I like having the box ready to go when I open it, as far as being able to set the game up. Now, back to the racing mechanic. I think that's a really cool thing that they added to this. It's not just a tile laying game anymore. This one is actually a racing game too, because throughout the course of the game, you're going to get a good number of points from being in first place and or second place in that race down the Amazon River. So it's important that you can take some of your turns and instead of placing one of your meeples, you can move your boat down the river one space. Or you can place those special tiles that have the little boat on them and get kind of a free movement as far as that's concerned, if you're able to put it onto one of your tributaries that you already own, or claim the tributary that it is on when you place it. So I like that aspect of the game. It gives you another thing to think about on top of the basic Carcassonne system of scoring your villages or cities or your roads or tributaries in this section. I also like the camp aspect of it, where you can put a camp in a jungle area, and then that jungle area will score you points based on how many wild animals are in it. I love that. Now, it's not anything really new because you had the farmers and the shepherds that did that, but this is a cool thematic tie-in to that system with the camps and the jungles and all that kind of stuff. So I really like a lot of this. There isn't really anything that I dislike about it. It's very simple to play. There's no, it takes probably, for people who have played Carcassonne before, you're talking maybe 5 minutes to explain all the differences, and then boom, you're right back into it. For somebody who doesn't play Carcassonne, you're talking maybe 10 minutes. So you can take 5 minutes to explain the core mechanisms of tile placement and the rules that are regarded there, and then another 5 minutes for all those different extra things. So again, this is still a very simple entry point to the Carcassonne system. If you haven't picked up the base game, this would be a great little standalone game that you could pick up to see if you enjoy the Carcassonne system. And then if you want to, you can go back and start with the base game and get all the expansions and all that kind of stuff. But these around the world iterations of Carcassonne, I think, are really cool jumping in points for people who have never owned or purchased a copy of Carcassonne before. So that is Carcassonne Amazonas. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs way up for as far as its addition to the Carcassonne system. I think it's a great standalone game, adds a little bit of flavor that you just don't get in the base game or one of the other iterations of the game. So that is Carcassonne Amazonas. We'll see you guys on the flip side.